right, coaches. So in this video, we have Lisa Concepcion, and she is our guest today. And she's going to talk to us about how she started her own business. So I would like Lisa to introduce herself, who she is, what she does, and just tell us a little bit about, what got you into the love coaching.
So my name is Lisa Concepcion, and I'm a certified professional life coach who specializes in dating, relationships, heartbreak, divorce detox, narcissistic abuse recovery, as I call it, narcissist slaying. And I just help typically like type A professionals who have it really together professionally, whether they own a business of their own or they're corporate or whatever they're doing. They do it pretty well and they have their money on point and they're all right. But when it comes to love, for whatever reason, they can't seem to figure it out, and they're frustrated about it, and they want love in their life, or if they're in a relationship, they want to strengthen that relationship. So I get into the weeds. I help them get into the roots of why they are the way they are, why they're attracting what they're attracting, and a lot of it's patterns. So we try to get together and really clean out the cobwebs and look to what's really at the root of what is navigating them when it comes to love in their life. So I founded a company called LoveQuest Coaching. It's lovequestcoaching.com. And I founded this company in 2015. And initially, it was supposed to be a personal branding company for love. In fact, the first name of it was LoveQuest Marketing, because I was a public relations and marketing expert. So I wanted to take those 2 decades of that experience and put it towards a form of personal development, of personal branding. And it was like, okay, I knew how to do marketing and I was interested in dating and relationships and helping people that way. But the universe kind of said to me, okay, you're close. You are going to help people. And it is going to have to do with dating and relationships. But we're going to rock your world. We're going to put you in the depths of the well of the darkness of the awful. And you're going to get divorced from your, college sweetheart of 24 years that you've known this man. That's going to fall apart. You're going to feel like the world as you know it was completely rocked to your core. Then you're going to see these codependent behaviors by rebounding and getting into a relationship with a narcissistic sociopath, which then will lead you to lose a ridiculous amount of weight in way too short a time, because my nerves will lock my stomach up and I couldn't eat and couldn't have any sleep even. I was like running on fumes. And then when you finally realize that the only way to soothe yourself is by yourself, instead of looking out there to see who's going to soothe me, you're going to figure out self-love, you're going to heal codependency, and you're going to emerge from this well, you're going to climb yourself out to the light, and you're going to be awakened. And that's what happened to me in 2015, 2016. So this was this big upheaval. And then when I came out of it, I was like, whoa, now I understand how I'm really going to help people. I am going to become a coach, because what I go through, what I just went through for 6 months of my life, other people have got to be going through this too. And it led to a midlife transformation, in that when this happened to me in 2015, I was 44 years old, 45. I had turned 45 that year. And now, almost 50, I'm very looking at that journey as a midlife transformation. So a lot of the people that I coach often come to me at midlife when they are leaving divorce, marriages and divorcing, or ending, long-term relationships, a decade, maybe 5 years, 10 years, what have you. So it's a lot of that reframing who they are at this point in their life and designing what it is they want to create for themselves. So I find that to be, a part of what I do that is incredibly fulfilling. It's definitely relate to it. I'm that age. And I've been through it. So, when people say I'm too old and I'm too old to, they say I'm too old for love, or I'm too that. Honey, no, you're not. No, you're not. I met a wonderful man in 2016. We've been together since. He's great. And, just because you went through something in your 20s, 30s, and in your 40s doesn't mean that the party's over. Different party. They say, keep the dress, right? Keep the dress, just go to a different party. Change it up.
I
Right?
love
So
that.
that was
Thank
what
you.
happened. That was what it was. And it was like super inspiring because as I was going through my journey, I was being very vocal and public about it. So I needed accountability. And I felt that as I was going through my divorce detox, I went on social media and I would document day by day by day. It was 90 days. So I didn't date anyone. I did seminars and courses and like all the stuff I was learning, I was sharing up on social media. So people started to ask me for help. They were like, can I talk to you for like an hour? Like, I'll pay you, I'll PayPal you. But then I felt very responsible because I'm like going through my stuff and people wanted to talk to me. And then I'm like, oh, I'm taking money from them. Like, I need to get certified or something. So from an ethical standpoint, I researched the coaching certifications that were available. I chose the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching, IPEC, and they're endorsed by the International Coaching Federation. So I was really into this like third party endorsement. I wanted to go about this in a really ethical, right way. And I wanted to learn how to coach the right way too.
That's an incredible story, and I'm so proud to say that I was attracted to working with you from all of the social media videos that I was watching. You were hitting my pain points. I was in such bad pain, and I was like, I want this woman to help me and to work with me, and you really helped me dig into the weeds, and it was incredible. And so I was so grateful and impressed with that, like how you helped me like in my personal life. And I was really, really impressed with your business acumen and how you're able to build an audience and, sustain a lifestyle that, is, enjoyable for you and gives you freedom and stuff like that. So that both of those things, I just have always really admired you.
I really appreciate that. I received that with love because I know you, like I know our journey, and like you did a lot of work, I mean, it's not for everybody, right? This coaching thing. I mean, you, Julie, coach people on their journey about writing their books and taking a book from a concept to the marketplace, and Colleen, you are in the category of health and wellness, right? So there's, in what we have requires that the people who hire us go all in, full on committed, like they are making an investment and they are full on committed to seeing it through. And then the coach shows up to meet you at your level, and the results are always amazing. Like you get what you truly put into it. It's very true. And in my experience with coaches that I've hired, and I still have, I always say, look, there's a difference between Lisa showing up for a $295 seminar versus Lisa paying $5,000 for a coach. I mean, I'm showing $5,000 for a coach. Please, I'm in front of my computer. I'm ready to go. I have my pens. I have my notebooks. I'm ready. The thing with the $250 one in some hotel, I'm on my phone. I'm checking this. I'm there, but I'm not in it, So there is, I've noticed in my own, personal journey with professional and personal development that, you really do get what you pay for. And what is interesting is, and Julie, you mentioned it, it's authenticity is everything. It really is. People can see me on video. I do these, I started doing the quarantini happy hour because of the quarantine. Everyone's home. So I'm like, why don't I just do these at 5:00? Everybody's working from home. They can take a break. Maybe they'll see me on their Facebook, whatever. So it worked nicely. And now with things kind of reopening and people resuming to their normal schedules, at least, a little bit, I'm playing with, back doing it again in the evening because it's kind of adult content. And I just want to make sure that, people can access it. But, what I try to do with the marketing element is just pick a topic that I know that people are struggling with based on what I'm coaching my people on, and just bringing it to the masses via video and just talking about the problem, why it happens. You're not alone. These are the decisions that go into this, and then offering some little nugget of hope of, here's how you can approach it and look at it a different way. And sometimes, people, they'll watch it and it'll resonate, and then they'll be inspired to go to my website or like PM me right then and there. So, you know, for not having a full-on marketing machine where I'm pumping, you know, money every month into Facebook ads and this and that, like I'm not that yet. Will I be? We'll see. I mean, it could be a different vehicle. It might be Google ads instead of Facebook ads, whatever. I'll figure out the strategy. But for now, it's all about authenticity, all about the posts. And I have to tell you, really knowing who your ideal customer client is everything, especially in this setting that we have now. If you're marketing yourself on social media and you're kind of running this hybrid of like you are the brand, then you cannot acquiesce to anything or anyone that is not aligned with your values. You just cannot. And people have come at me and said like, man, like you're really like full on with your views about things. And I'm like, yeah, because my people, my ideal person is into that and aligns with that, and it resonates with them. And it's almost like what I found happened is it's almost people who are afraid to voice their opinions became more empowered to do so. So there was this thing where online we saw in the last 3 months, I'm sure everybody can relate to this, that writing that line between the professional and the personal and the political and all of this kind of launching out right there on social media for all to see. So a lot of people who are coaches were like grappling with I don't want to touch that topic. I don't want to touch that topic. But you know what? That messes with the authenticity. It messes with the authenticity. You can't come at me saying that I'm going to do a video about courtship during Corona, you know, quarantine, and not be able to indicate my viewpoint on the current situation that's going on. It's going to be in there. It's me. So how can I possibly censor what I'm saying out of fear that, you know, honey, if you don't want to work with me, it's all good. There are many coaches out there. It's all good. I'm not for everybody. It's fine. But I'm for my people, and my people dig it. My people dig what I'm putting out there. And you did. We had a great experience. I loved coaching you. You were so coachable and so committed and very willing to go there with yourself. You were very like authentic. You were like, here's what my mission is. I am going to solve this thing and I'm going to go there. And, you know, I held space and it was just a give and take and a very good collaborative effort, because trust me, I've coached people where it's like dragging them through the process and you're just like, honey, I'm not your babysitter. I'm your coach.
I think you hit a really great point, Lisa. And that is this being authentic. And I think as a new coach or somebody who is aspiring to be a new coach, they often filter themselves because they're like, oh, I shouldn't say this because what are people going to think of me? Or I don't want to offend anybody, or I don't want to hurt my business. But you make a really great point, and that's it, that you're not going to be for everybody, right? Like those that are for you are going to be attracted to you. They're going to resonate with what you say. And those that are not for you, they're going to, you know, you filter them out. Your authenticity is your filter. Right. And that's how you attract.
And it's totally okay. It's totally okay. Like when I'm coaching people, Julie, I said it to you when we coached, I said, my love, you're not looking for the masses. You're not looking for the masses. You're looking for your person, your ideal partner in life, right?
Correct.
So when you shift that, you get out of that scarcity mindset where you're trying to be everything to everybody, and you get very picky. You get very like, no, this is who I coach. And at the start of this conversation, I was very clear to say, I coach type A individuals, business owners, corporate people who have their money game on point, their career game on point, but for whatever reason, they don't know why, their love life, their marriages, their relationships, their dating experiences are out of whack, and they want to figure it out. And they have the commitment level, the urgency. They want this solved and they're ready to take action. Those are my people, right? So they're not, like I said, I'm not going to have everybody, but my people, I know them the second we got on a call. I'm like, I know this is somebody that I'm going to work with.
That's the power of knowing who your ideal client is. It's the foundation for your entire business.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because that's like who you're communicating to in every single piece of communication that you're putting out there, every post, every, especially like I said, when you're doing it without an ad budget, you're not creating these, ads and things. You're just kind of you, and you put yourself out there, and having that mindset of, I'm going to be okay. Like, my people find me, they always do. And not coming at it from a energy of desperation or an energy of scarcity, but an energy of abundance. I'm going to have a good time. We're going to do this video. Some of you will like it. You'll watch it. Some of you won't. All good either way, honey. It's all good.
So Lisa, what would you say in terms of business when you were getting started, and actually just your whole journey, I suppose? What was the hardest challenge you've had to overcome as a coach?
Oh, good question. I would have to say, hands down, the overcoming the fear and stepping into faith, mainly when it came to money. So I did a lot of work in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. I mean, I was all about money mindset. You can tell any kind of book that you throw at me with money mindset, I'm like, I read it, I did it, everything. But it was, understanding it conceptually was easy, right? Like, you read Think and Grow Rich and you're like, okay, write your thing on a card and you read it every day. This is my goal. This is my intention, whatever. But when you're doing, but you're not being it, there's a disconnect. So it took time for me to get to a point where I could leave here's what ended up happening. And I'll tell you exactly what it is, because there will be a moment for the people who are watching this that they really think they want to start a business. For me, it was this. I was doing public relations and marketing, working at a PR firm that was my friend's PR firm. And I was working there, using that as the way to fund my passion, which was my coaching business. And it was great because my friend was all for it. She knew everything was out in the open. She knew I was going to work for her forever. She knew I had this thing that I wanted to do with coaching, on and on. So it was fine. But I was so into the security of, she's my friend. I'll always have a job. I'll always have a paycheck. We always win clients. This is good. Business always comes. Blah, 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 blah. It's close. It's convenient. It's right by my house. I could even bring my dog to the office. It was so cushy, convenient. But the money wasn't what I wanted. I mean, but it was enough. So that's number one, is understanding that comfort zones are the killers of business, of entrepreneurship specifically. So the more comfortable you are, the greater the leap is for you to get uncomfortable, where now you're the sole owner. There is no cushy 1st and 15th of the month to the penny that you know exactly what you're making. So I had gotten my business to a point where I started to question, I'd say 3 months prior to leaving my friend's business, I was really questioning, what could this business be if I focused on it full on? And that's when all that money mindset work came into play, where it was like, where energy goes and you put attention on it, energy will go to it and it will expand, it will grow. And that, believing that, took faith. It had to take a leap of faith. So in 2018, this was like 2018 into 2019, the universe, I'm telling you, God, the universe, bless all of it, because when it calls for you, that you are here and it needs you here, it will align things up. It will make things shift and move. It'll make your head spin. And then you're forced to make a decision. So that's what ended up happening for me. And it was in late 2018, 2019, where I was like, all right, that's it. I'm doing this thing. And I started to speak of myself as if I was already a coach. So gone were the days where I was working at my friend's PR thing and saying, oh, I do public relations and marketing, and I have this coaching thing that I'm trying to get off the ground. No. I'm a coach. And I was just stepping into that person, the embodiment of who that version of myself was. So the more and more people would, oh, what do you do? I'm a certified love life coach. A love life coach? I never heard of that before. Is that like a life coach? It is. It's a life coach for people who are struggling with their love life. Oh, is that like a matchmaker? No, I don't do matchmaking, but we get to the root of why you can't find your match, or why your match and you are not really jiving well, and they're like, oh my God, fascinating, amazing, right? So I started to really speak and walk the talk of that person. And no sooner I started to do that, everything lined itself up where I had to do this full time. I was able to make the shift pretty quickly. Once I made that switch in my head, it was within the magic number, like I always say, 90 days from when I had that moment. And I was writing it in my journal, and I said, you know what? I am no longer PR girl. Like I'm not that. I'm not identifying with that anymore. And no sooner I just wrote it out, you know, the power of intention and then faith in the universe, and everything worked out where, you know, I had to take that leap of faith, but I was ready to do it. I didn't think I was, but then when I did it and I saw like, wow, I could do it. Let's try it. Let's see what next month is going to bring. Let's see what next month is going to bring. And then you have that first like, right? And then you're like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? And then you start calling people, hey, do you need like PR work? Do you need? And then I said, you know what? I went inward and I said, you know what to do, girl. You know exactly what to do. You're good at what you do. Just put yourself out there, get into faith. I checked out, you know, the book, A Course in Miracles. I started to read that, get into my journaling. And sure enough, I had every month from that point on was consistent, and going up and up and up. So it's, you know, it's a journey though. It's definitely a journey. It kicks your ass. Then you have stuff like this, right? Like COVID-19. I mean, now I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, like, how am I going to adapt to this? What are the pains now that people are facing? You know, like, hi, I can't go to a bar. Like, we can't go to a bar. I'm wearing a mask. Hi, nice to meet you. Want to go for drinks? Like, what do you do? What do you do now? Right. And this is that uncertainty, and like, what do you do? So it's a matter of, you know, creating content that speaks to the moment so that it lands right, that it, you know, and then there was a thing, oh my God, with the COVID-19 where all the ex-boyfriends were coming out of the woodwork, and the ex-girlfriends and all the exes wanted to hunker down. And these people are calling me, Lisa, my God, my ex-boyfriend from 3 years ago calls me out of the blue. What should I do? I can't believe. And then another one, and then another one. And you know, people are texting me and on social media, they're like, what did I do? I did a thing about how to handle, you know, the phantom of boyfriend and girlfriend past, the ghosts, they come back. What do you do during this pandemic? You know, you're kind of feeling lonely. Oh, maybe I will. Oh, it wasn't that bad of a relationship. And you start to like convince yourself, you know. So I did a lot of content around that. And then now it's the uncertainty of emerging again into this new place, into this new world of, you know, yeah, great. I'm going to get groceries, but I have a mask on my face. Usually I could go to the grocery store, maybe meet somebody cool, but now social distancing, can't meet anybody, like, hard. So, you know, it's a matter of really adapting the content to what the needs are now.
So would you say that an important quality for being an entrepreneur is to be adaptable? Like, you 100%. Have to be able to adapt. Okay. Agreed.
Have to be adaptable, and you have to really pay attention and listen to what people are struggling with. You got to really get in there and listen to the struggles. And, you know, just simply scrolling through the Facebook groups and just watching the interactions, like, you know what's on everybody's mind, right? You know, you just, I mean, doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize, like, okay, people are freaking out because they're isolated. So much isolation nation. It's no good. It's people are getting a little cuckoo. And now it's like, okay, well, if I go on a dating app and I meet somebody there, I don't know what I'm doing because I never dated on a dating app before. I would always just go out and meet people through friends and friends and friends. And now I can't even see my friends. It's very two-dimensional now. So it's teaching these people how to approach a dating app in a way that is empowering and confidence, you know, with pacing it the right way and moving the ball ahead and getting from, you know, a connection on a dating app to now maybe a one-on-one call like what we're doing. You know, I've had people who were meeting people online and then having like dinner dates on computer. And like legit, like making food and having wine and being like, what are you eating? Let me see what you're eating. Oh my God, that's amazing. Or this one guy, super cute. He ordered takeout, Uber Eats for him and for her, same meal. Cause they lived in the same town, but like a little bit away. So that they delivered to the same place. So they ate the same thing. They shared the whole thing. And, you know, this is old school courtship with a technological twist. You know, people are not Oh, I met a guy at a bar and I ended up in bed with him like 2 hours later. Haha. Now it's like, hi. So, it's different, very different. So now it's kind of sweet. It forced everybody to really get to know one another on a more intimate level before getting skintimate, is what I always say. There's intimate and then there's skintimate. Don't confuse the two. But adaptability in business, or returning to a business discussion, it's very, very important, very important. And to have the wherewithal to really listen to the marketplace, because the marketplace tells you what it needs, tells you exactly what it needs. And then you could be of great service. If you're trying to stay in rigidity, I only coach people who are dating. Really, honey? Well, nobody's dating now. So now what are you going to do? So you have to come out with it and be like, well, now this is great preparation. You could get to the root of what the hell was going on with you before and really redesign and reinvent your whole dating strategy. Because once this thing is over, your way you dated in February is out the window. Nobody dates like that anymore. It's very different now. Very different. So
Yeah.
Adjust to what people really need.
And I think just from having observed you do that, I think you do it beautifully, Lisa. And so my next question is, like, definitely all business owners need to adapt, but I think coaching business owners are this very, very special animal, a special breed. And so I want to know, like, what do you think are the qualities that unite coaches? Because you can sell doorknobs and be a fantastic business owner. You can, I don't know, like be an angel investor, and that can be your business. But like when you coach other people, when you take a person who wants to learn something or wants to like excel in some way, and you have what they need, what is that like to own a business and do that? Like, what unites business owners?
So I feel like, and also knowing the coach community, just because as coaches we get in groups and things, and we do workshops and God knows whatever to help ourselves excel in this business. So we meet others. So the common traits, it's really being a strong, like bringing all the faith in that person, right? So for example, I'll bring, if I have a client and they tell me that they are here and they want to go here, I am interested in shortening the gap in between. And I believe that I can do so with them, provided their level of commitment and participation is on the same page as mine, right? So sometimes just saying to them that they can do it, believing in them more so than they believe in themselves, is the match to the dynamite stick that makes them go kaboom. I mean, sometimes people just need to have somebody say, no, I believe in you. Why not? Why couldn't you meet somebody in 90 days? Why not? Meet people every day. And they're like, really? You think so? Like, it's so hard. No, it's not. Did you go out today at all? I did. Did you talk to anyone today? I did. Okay, so there you go. You're attracting people all the time. Right? So,
Yeah.
So it's that. It's very, having that belief in that person wholeheartedly. It's also listening for their communication style. Are they a visual person? Are they an auditory? Are they visionary, right? And knowing how to communicate with them on their level in a way that they understand. I love analogy. I use a lot of analogy, very creative in my coaching style. So, and they're funny oftentimes. I like to put humor in there. It doesn't have to be such drama and heavy. It could be fun, learning about whatever it is. If you're struggling with money mindset or whatever your issue is, or you're wanting to get your health on point and lose weight, doesn't have to be this big, heavy, look at me, I'm so awful. No, you're freaking wonderful. You're awesome. Look, you realized that something was up that you wanted to fix, that you wanted to enhance about yourself. So that right there is a win. Going in, you're strong, because you know how many people aren't even aware that they have an issue of something, of nothing, but they complain. And they go outward with it. Oh, it's their fault. It's all out there. It's because there aren't any good guys around. There aren't any good women. They're all crazy. No, it's you are in control of all outcomes. So when you come at that person with true intention of empowerment, they feel empowered. They don't feel coddled. They feel like, wow, I never thought of that way before, right? So it's a lot of that. It's also, as an entrepreneur and a coach, specifically, it's like I said earlier, knowing exactly who your ideal person is, your ideal client is, your niche, what lights you up, and marketing the hell out of yourself and getting over that egoic BS that says, I can't do a Facebook Live because look, I have a zit right there and I don't know. Like, what are you kidding me? Like, get the live going, honey, and be like, hey, so look at what planet is growing on my forehead. Oh, it's not so distracting. It's like, I literally had that happen to me once on a Facebook Live where it was like an egg on my forehead. And I took my drink because I had a cold, icy drink, and I was like holding it to my head as I was doing the video. And I was like, don't mind me. I just had like massive zit eruption on my forehead. And this feels like so good to me right now as I'm doing this. So, I mean, and people were cracking up. They were like, don't put toothpaste on it, whatever you do. Like in the live, it was like, it took on its own thing, but it made it very real to people. And it made it like, wow, if that's what she's like on a Facebook Live, like, could you imagine what she's like after I get to know her a couple of weeks of coaching? Like, we're going to have a blast, So it's also like owning your authenticity and being like, look, this is my coaching style. This is how I roll. And it's not for everybody, but it's for the people who it's for. And then you find them and you match up with them. It's the best thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, and why do you believe that the world needs coaches?
Wow. I believe that the world needs coaches similarly to the reason why we need people. We need each other, right? So you can't go through this journey by yourself. You cannot. And if there are things specifically that you want to achieve, and you could get around someone who's done it before you and can save you a ton of time, why not, right? Like if you can go, I mean, my whole recovery through my divorce and subsequent narcissistic, sociopathic ridiculousness with this man, that legit was a year-long journey. That was a year of my life of just completely wiping the slate clean and rebuilding myself emotionally and changing the way I entered relationships and how I handled myself in relationships. Big work, right? A year. I codified everything that I did in that year. I have notebooks upon notebooks, and now I used it to create my 90-day programs because I'm like, why did we just like slam this short? There's no reason why you can't get over someone in 90 days. There's no reason. And if you know confidently, like I know confidently, somebody will be like, I've been with this guy for 6 years. I've been with this girl for 6 years. Oh my God. It's like, I'm losing a limb. It's very dramatic. And I get it. I was the same. It is. It's horrible. You feel like you're losing like a piece of you. Okay, fine. What do you want to do next? And then they're like, you really think I can get over this person in just 3 months? It's like, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that, on 3 months and 1 day, you're going to maybe bump into them at the store and not feel like a pang of something, but you are going to know how to handle yourself. And you are going to know that you love yourself first, most, best, and always. And you're not going to be the way you are now, seeing them in the store. You're going to be a completely different version of yourself. And then you'll see how you handle yourself. But until you do that journey and you get with someone for whatever it is that you're trying to solve, get with somebody who solved it and then learn from them how they did it. In 90 days, 6 months, shrink the time of your transformation. Shrink it by getting around the people who already went through what it is you went through and have the way. They have the guide, right? It's like going on in the car and you can choose to, okay, I'm going to just see how I get to where my destination is. Or you could plug in the little Waze or the GPS and be like, 500 feet, turn left. That's exactly what coaching does for people. It's you want to go there, plug in the GPS, your little voice. We are that voice. In 500 feet, don't date that idiot. Avoid that drama.
You are really good with the analogies.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, in a way, a coach is almost you know, you're the end result that the client is looking for, right? And as the coach, you are, your ideal client in some way is a past version of yourself. Because a lot of times people get stuck on, I don't know who to help, who am I helping, who am I talking to? And it's like, well, rewind 5 years. Who were you then, right? And so then you're going to know how to attract the right person.
Yeah, and market to them. You know, you nailed it perfectly. You know, if I look back and I made my marketing benchmarks. Who was I at 25? Because that's my millennial girl. Who was I at 35? That's my 30s girl. Who was I 5 years ago? That's my, and who am I on way to becoming? So that's who I'm mixing up with too. So it's very true, very, very true. And what I did as an exercise was I looked at myself at all of those decades. So I was like, okay, so who is my millennial client, my ideal millennial client? And I wrote exactly where I was in my life, what my concerns were, what I was struggling with. And then what I loved about it with marketing for my millennials, in many cases, I'm like the one that they can say stuff to that they can't say to their moms, or like that cool aunt that gets it and will like talk crass with them, and like they have freedom to like say whatever that they know, oh my God, if I said this to my mother, forget it. And you're exactly her age, you know. Usually they come to me, they're 20, 23, 26, 28. And I'm like, well, how old's your mom? Talk to me about your relationship with your mom. And they're like, well, my mom's like 54. And I'm like, oh, so she's kind of like my age. They're like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, no, I'm 40, 49 and a half. So we're same generation, your mom and I, similar, right? And they're like, oh my God, I would never talk to my mom the way I talk to you. No way. I'm like, well, that's because I'm your coach. I'm not your mom, right? Your mom's your mom. You'll go to her for other things, you know? So that's that age range. And then in the 30s, you know, it's typically, you know, the single women who, you know, they have it together, the single men, they have it together, but they are on this hamster wheel existence of wake up, shower, commute to work, come home, go to the gym, eat standing up at your kitchen sink, feel maybe a veg out to TV, and then do it again the next day. And they are seeing how 3 months turns to 6, turns to 9, turns to 12, another year goes by, and they're doing the same, you know, pattern every day. And they want to mix that up, and they get lost in that life. Those are the singles. And then you have the ones that are married, and they're just like they're married maybe 5 years, or they're just getting married, and they want to start it off on the right foot. They want to really set some major goals, make some agreements in their marriage right from the start, and really be true partners with one another. So that is that. And then the 40s are fun, because that's, those are all like the hot messes. They're like, I'm getting divorced. This is a disaster. Oh my God. You know, it's a transitional time for many of the people in the 40s, just fun. So yeah. And then beyond that, you know, it's just amazing. I coach people. Let's see, the youngest I've coached was 24 and the oldest was 63. Amazing. Yeah. So great.
Never too old.
So great. And you know, what was interesting about it is that the problem that the 63-year-old had and the problem that the 24-year-old had were the same problem. They both were trying to get over somebody who was very highly narcissistic, very controlling, and they were very wounded by that person. So age means nothing. It's just where you are on your journey. So I don't even look at it like that. You know, somebody 63 can have the same pain as somebody at 24.
Absolutely. And just imagine if more people would get with a coach, you know, and really get their problem solved. And you know, because you solve the problem that you go to the coach for, and then the skills that you gain there translate out and trickle out to other areas of your life. And imagine if more people would just like make that investment with the coach,
totally,
and go there for their empowerment, as opposed to all these other like more traditional, you know, sources. Imagine that. Like, imagine the world with more coaches and more people coming to coaches.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, it would just be this whole society where people are actively looking to benefit themselves, grow, develop, and handle their shit. handle whatever their thing is, and take that responsibility and that initiative and set that intention. It's like a really good place to live, right? Where we all could be coached, and we all can be coaches, right? So it's like somebody who has expertise on, whatever, home buying for investment purpose. They can coach people who are first-time home buyers who have no idea how to invest in a house. You're a coach. You're coaching through that. It's not, oh, I was a real estate agent, but now I'm a coach. Oh, really? How do you do? Oh, well, I coach people on their investment properties. Like, oh, that is a coach. Anybody can be a coach. It's just a matter of owning your expertise, knowing exactly what value you have to bring, and then knowing that there's somebody who wants what you got. Somebody wants to know what you know to save them 6 months of their life. That's all. And it's valuable. So valuable. I think also too, like, the coaching thing is starting to really be mainstream.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think more and more people who are hiring coaches are bragging about it. Whereas when people say, people aren't going to sit around at dinner and say, with their friends, or go on a Zoom call because it's COVID, so you're all hanging out together. They're not as likely to say, so I was talking to my therapist the other day, and my therapist said that I'm batshit crazy, and here's why. They would never say that. What they would say is, so I was talking with my love life coach the other day. You have a love life coach? I do. Well, because I have this pattern where, like, I pick the wrong guys to date, and I waste way too much time in these relationships because I believe in the potential of the person and not actually what I'm seeing. So I wanted to handle that. So anyway, yeah, I hired this girl who's this coach. She's unbelievable. And she's fun, and she helped me understand why I do this. Did you know it had to do with something that I went through when I was 11, and I switched schools, and I didn't fit in right away with the other kids, and I felt not good enough. And so I always had to seek and people please because I had to quickly make friends in that new school when I was 11, and that trauma created a new version of me where now I believe that everybody gets a shot. Everybody gets a shot at me, right? So now I have no boundaries. I'm trying to make everybody like me, and heaven forbid if I'm like, you know what? I think you're cool, but you're not, you don't get access to this. I'm sorry, right? No, it's that, right? So it's looking at coaching from a perspective of the way people are interested in talking about themselves now, and the stigma that still oftentimes happens when you're dealing with therapy. I had a therapist. I wasn't blabbing my mouth. My therapist said that my issue is because when my parents got divorced when I was 3. I mean, I said it from the authenticity of I was sharing my journey with other people. So I was very raw and very real with all of that. But the lay person, the average person out there, they're not going to divulge in that, but they will say, yeah, I have a coach. It's like, really? You have a coach? Like, it's a cool thing. It's like, wow, you got the new Fendi bag? Oh my God. And you have a coach, and you have a Peloton, and you have, it's like another, like a status-y thing. Like, you care
Cultural
enough.
capital.
Yeah. Like, you care enough about your betterment that you're going to make that kind of investment. And then you have the bragging right or the status of, when they say, is it expensive? Like, to have a coach, aren't they expensive? Oh, honey, they are so expensive. Well, well, you know what? I said, I could go on vacation alone again, or I could invest this chunk of money into myself, and who knows, maybe never travel alone again. Just saying. As an example.
I love that. That's true. Yeah. And yeah, having a coach is like the cool thing. It's definitely becoming mainstream. Just the other day, I think it was last night, my husband was like, oh yeah, my coach, this and that. He just got a coach. So he's talking to everybody about it and how great it is, and the calls and how wonderful it's been for him. So it's definitely becoming more mainstream, which is incredible. Like, because just imagine the kind of world we would be living in if everyone was working on themselves and bettering themselves. Totally. Helping each other. We're helping
each other for sure. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing more and more of that. And I think also what's really, really cool, it's a blessing, is because everyone is now so familiar with this type of platform, with hopping on a Zoom or doing video conversations, that it's the new normal. It's been totally mainstream. So people maybe a year ago who were like, oh, well, how would it work? Like, how I live in California, you live in Miami. How possibly would you coach me? And I'm like, girl, we're going to get on a Zoom call. Like, I coach people all over the world. It's fantastic. And that's the thing, the flexibility of your schedule. Honey, I can be at the beach, 10 a.m., la, 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 hanging out, doing my thing. And then all of a sudden, all right, 2 o'clock, why? 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, back-to-back coaching sessions, then do some marketing, then another coaching session at night, done. So you have flexibility of your day and your time. There's no better lifestyle than that. No better lifestyle. I haven't woken up with an alarm clock in years. I don't know what that is. And I wake up, this is what's weird. Not weird, but this is your body. This is the beauty of your body. I wake up within 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the same time every day. No alarm clock.
Wow.
And I organized my morning where I know how much time I want in the morning from, let's say, 6:30 when I start to like, whoa, I'm up to my first real thing that I'm going to do. I like to have my morning time. I want to have a nice breakfast. I want to walk my dog. I want to work out. You know, I want to hit a spin class and get into my day, journal in the morning, you know, all these little morning rituals that fuel me up and charge my battery so that then I can give that when I'm in coaching calls with clients. You know, you can't give what you don't have. So if you're depleted, you got to do whatever it takes to amp up that battery, charge that battery.
Absolutely. I call it filling up your cup.
Fill up the cup.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
So Lisa, we have one last question for you. You've been wonderful and just a wealth of value and information. So what are you looking to build in the next 5 years of your business? What's your business's future?
Oh, wow. Speak this into existence. Okay. So
there we go.
This is good. So the future for my business, definitely a lot of DIY online courses that people will be able to do, affordably priced, where you do them on your own, video modules, you go in, there's me, you do little worksheets. And then from there, if you want to do one-on-one with me for your special thing, you can. So I'm going to do a bunch of those, just, you know, creating them and having them accessible online. Of course, that's when the advertising thing has to happen so that you could drive people to that. So that's definitely happening. I also see myself embarking on a journey where there's more of speaking engagements, more thought leader opportunities. Writing a book is going to definitely happen in that time. And I think that's what's going to launch that speaking engagements and more like thought leader work. And let's see what else for me on the business front. Probably like collaborations, like very nice branded collaborations, maybe seminars aboard cruise ships. If that industry comes back strong again, you know, that'd be cool to do. Or, you know, hotel properties where it's, you know, these big mix and mingle events and stuff where I do a talk and people mix and mingle. It's like ultimate great networking. But again, you know, given the new climate, the new culture, the new society we're living in, who knows, it could be a very more digital way of working, but I'll figure it out. I always do it.
It's the true entrepreneur spirit right there.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Always have new ideas.
Figure it out. I always say, I'm like, I'll figure it out and then I'll feel it out. And that's when I know what to do, right? It's the both, the head and the heart. And that's when you know what decision, what feels right.
Lisa, this was incredible. You've got, you know, again, you've got such a wealth of knowledge, you know, in your love coaching and how to help people deal with heartache and find their person and, you know, date with power and purpose. I remember that as being one of your phrases that was really powerful, and just in how to run a business and grow it and, you know, again, sustain your lifestyle. I think it's just so impressive, and I'm so proud to have worked with you personally and then to bring you on in a different capacity and talk business and talk coaching. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
This was a delight. You, my doll, are always a joy to hang with. So I wish you both much success, prosperity. Let's get these people handled and sorted so they can thrive in this new crazy world we're living in.
Thank you so much, Lisa. You're wonderful.